Let's, whoa, oh, uh-oh. Impact detected, motor stopped. All right, so crashed into the tree. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Check it out. We are here with the DJI AVATA with the FPV combo bag, and we're going to do a flight test here just around the house. This is the new place we bought in the Southwest, and we basically kind of moved to at least part of the year. Anyway, let's set up this DJI AVATA, unzip it, kind of in real time, show you how long it takes to set up. I just have extra propellers up in here. This is the kind of the way I have it set up, but of course you can set it up any way you want. It's a modular backpack, so you can Velcro these partitions and put them in any way you want. I just have the goggles in this bottom part right here just because it was already kind of like the perfect size for it. And then I have the cables here and the goggle battery right there. I go ahead and leave these decusant silica packs in there just to keep the moisture out and stuff, keep it all fresh. Motion controller I have right here on the top. Everything should be pretty much fully charged. And then I have the AVATA right here in the big pocket. That's pretty much all there is to it. First thing we're going to do is take off the lens cover or the gimbal cover, right? Protect it. And then the second thing I'm going to do before I put the bag away is take off the protection, sun protector and scratch protector for the lenses on the goggles. I usually put the charger right in here. It's just in the house right now, but I have that multi-charger because I got the Flymore kit. That's it as far as out of the backpack. And really quickly, all we're doing is turning on the goggles first. So we need to flip up the antennas, boom, boom. Plug in the battery pack right here on the bottom. Face that in any direction that's convenient for you. We're going to be putting this in our pocket. Turn the goggles on just by tapping and holding the power. That's going to turn on. We'll hear a chime. Then I'm going to go ahead and turn on the controller. It doesn't really matter which one you turn on first, controller or drone, because it's all digital, right? So I'm just going to do the controller, and then we'll go ahead and turn on the drone. This is kind of a metal table, so I'll be moving the drone over to one of those bricks over there when we launch, just so there's no interference, and also from the roof here. This apparently does have GPS. I was kind of like worrying if it did or not, but amazingly this has GPS and everything. So for a Cinewoop and to have GPS, return to home function, all that stuff, Find My Drone is pretty amazing. So everything is locked up. You see how the controller's all the way on. We have flashing green on the top here. Then I'll put this battery kind of in my pocket here. Don't want to be pulling out any cables, right? Anyway, this thing's ready to go. Let me put on the goggles and let's launch it. Before you fly, of course, make sure everything's adjusted to your liking. You don't want things too tight, too loose. You want it to be snug. And I think we're ready to go. So let's grab the motion controller here. And this is going to record as I take off. So it's saying on the screen, we've got 16 satellites, great GPS, our 7 megabits per second is our throughput. And I'm gonna try to kind of stay in front of the goggles, but we'll go around the house too and circle around and see how all that looks as well. So hopefully you guys can see my controller, my motion controller. I'm gonna double press this red button right here. Motors have started turning. And then it goes into high output flying mode. You see that 50 megabits per second it went up to on the right. Press and hold lock button to take off. So here we go, holding lock. I heard 2 beeps and we're up. So it's gonna just kind of launch and we're ready to fly. So look at this. I'm turning left and right and you can see the drone turning forward and up and down is changing the camera direction, and it will fly in that direction when I push the trigger. So let's just try some close proximity flying first. Pushing the trigger slowly. Nice. So all I'm doing, guys, when I do that is I'm pushing this trigger right here. See that? So let's try, we're in normal mode right now. Let's see what the top speed is in normal mode. 17 miles per hour, it looks like. That thing is screaming, yeah, 17, 18 miles per hour. And look at that, our home point is right there because I have home on. Anyway, guys, here's the house. Check this thing out. Woo! Oh, neat. So if you just want to cruise, I'm holding the trigger down all the way right now. We're maxing out at about 7, okay? So remember, this thing will hit objects that are in front of it. So you can see how I'm moving the motion controller as I'm controlling this thing. Dive bombing, not so great. It's not going to go super quick. You know, down super fast, like drops and stuff if you had manual control. So that's kind of the gist of it in normal mode, guys. Woo! Shoot this little gap here in normal mode. Yeah. Oh, power line. Yeah. Nice. I'm going to let off the controller and switch into sport mode. So I believe it will be this button right here, the M button. And you see sport came up on the right there. So everything should be a lot faster. Let's try it. I'm behind my head now, and this is how clear it is. Woo! What's our speed? 32 about, maxing. Dang, I thought this thing was going to go faster. Anyway, that's as fast as I'm getting. Whoa! Oh, it punches up pretty good though if you get in trouble. Wow. So you can kind of see how this whole thing is going, guys. You're just pointing this thing where you want to go. Can't really do any rolling with the motion controller. We're going to have to pop in the regular controller for that. But it's literally just going where I'm pointing this thing at 31, 32 miles per hour max, okay? Letting off. When I move my head, nothing's happening. Whoa, that's weird. Like when I turn to the left, it's turning to the right. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm turning it the wrong way. You're supposed to tilt it like this. For some reason, I was moving my wrist like this. You need to tilt it down left or down right. You see that? And then you can kind of see it turning. I don't know what I was doing, but I was just totally getting it wrong. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. If you pull way up, it just goes straight up. So that's awesome. 67% power on our drone. I just wanted to show you guys kind of where I'm at here. Woo! Shooting some gaps. Nice. But we're just in the southwest. Look at this. Let's punch up. Get pretty high. At least to 400 feet, right? That's full punched. Okay. It says gimbal pitch point. So it has a gimbal pitch point problem. High wind velocity up here. Look at that on the right. It popped up. There's the house with the H on it, so you know where your home point is if you're exploring. While we're hovering up here, guys, I'm going to go into my menu. I want to turn on the head tracking, so I'm sliding and I'm tapping head track. All right, let's see what this does. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's doing the controller left and right, but my head tracking is going up and down. Look at that. So my head's moving up. In real time, it's tracking all this. That's insane. So this might take a while to get used to. I kind of like it the other way. I feel like I'm going to crash like this. But look at this. We can look down. Wow. So I'm looking all the way down. Interesting. So this works with head tracking. Getting kind of dizzy from it, though. And then you can turn the drone like just regular with the motion controller. Oh, you can also turn it with your head. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at that. So you can turn your head. Okay. So that round circle in the front is where the drone head is facing. But if I wanted to, I could turn my head to the right and then I could pull the trigger and we're having a roll to the left. Look at that. Let's try the other way. Turn my head to the left, roll to the right. So that's how you can roll with this thing if you don't have the regular controller. All right, 48%. I'm going to take it off of head tracking. Taking off head tracking. There. Now we're back to normal, just flying with the controller and viewing with the goggles, okay? Anyway, I'm just going to zoom around here a bit more. Wow, it detects the trees pretty quick. You can see it popping up there on the bottom real fast, like what? Let's go under this. Woo, power line, shooting the gap. But this is pretty enjoyable, guys. Just, you can see focus mode is blurring out the edges and focusing in. Look, there's my Starlink dish. Let's not hit it, but I wanted to show you guys this. I just got Starlink on this place. Cool, huh? Starlink satellite. Let's, whoa, oh. Uh-oh. Impact detected, motor stopped. All right, so crashed into the tree. I'm way up in a tree. That was really stupid of me. I should have watched where I was going. So guys, I'm gonna try to go and get this out of the tree, but at least you saw it here, a crash on the AVATA. So shutting everything down, we got 38% power left, and I'm gonna go get this and we'll continue on. All right guys, so one of the great things about the goggles is that you can look in the replay, because the goggle saves the video too, even if you don't have your drone. And you can see exactly where you crashed. It looks like, am I up in that tree right there? So I just started going, ee, and then, yeah, that's the one I hit. But I was going, I don't think it's on that far one. I think it's right here. Jeez, where the heck is it? Oh, there it is. I'll watch out for cactus out here in the southwest. Rattlesnakes and whatnot. Slippers may not be the best thing out here. I gotta learn my lesson sooner or later. See if we can do a zoom. There we go. Anyway, it's right there in that branch. Oh yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo. I could have got out of that tree just by giving it a little throttle push, you know what I mean? Because the motors, you can see, weren't even like hitting any branches. All I got is like a little scuffing where I hit straight into it. That would have been cool if, you know, could have just give it a little shot like you can like a regular FPV drone, you know what I mean? A non-DJI drone. You can see the camera is still on its little rubberized gimbal mounts. And I'm just gonna have to wipe that lens a little. But it seems pretty durable. I mean, I caught it. I didn't like fall on any concrete or anything. So far, so good in a pine tree. All right, guys, so back at the bench here. And you know what? I'm not even gonna bother with this 38 or so % power battery. I'm just gonna take this out since I have so many of them. So remember, you just unplug this from the craft first, and then you gotta kind of push this up at the top. It seems to be the best. And then it just slides right out. This should be pretty much almost fresh. This second battery here, because I got so many batteries, right, with the Flymore kit. I got 3 batteries total. Okay, well, let's get this thing back up in the air. I'll have the time pop up for that 38% battery. Went down to 38% before I crashed. Flight time up now. And then I'll also go ahead and show the flight time for this full maximum battery. I'm just going to try to exhaust it, right? See how long this thing can fly. Maybe do a little bit closer proximity, go under some trees, fly low, see how it kind of like responds to flying really low and stuff. Pressing and holding to launch. Okay. Still flying okay. Let's look around. So here's where I launched from, right on this brick, right next to that little fake owl, right? So here we go, guys. We're recording and everything. Let's go ahead and zoom around here. Normal mode, I want to get into sport mode right away. Let's see what happens when we get close to the ground. I'm trying to push it into the ground and it will not go down more than like 2.5 feet. Okay. Well, that's pretty awesome. When I let off, it just, you saw me let off real quick. It just throttles right off there. So let's try not to hit a tree, but get some little bit of close proximity flying in here. Cool. So, you know, this is possible with this thing. Let's see what we can do here. Oh yeah. Okay, I want to go up. I don't want to hit those. So I'm tilting this thing way up. So that's possible, but you're not going to get going straight up, are you? Let's see if we go straight up and then full throttle. Cool. All right, so you can kind of do it. Man, that thing just sounds like it's screaming, doesn't it? Anyway, I think you guys kind of get the gist of it. I'm just going to like fly around and hopefully not crash, use up this battery. So I'm letting off the throttle a little to go slower and kind of like get through these trees nice and closely, you know. You can kind of see what my hand's doing. Nice. Let's see if we do a really fast turn. There we go. So that was all the way. Man, when I let off that throttle, it just wants to stop. There's the moon up there. A little bee in my ear. Jeez, a fly keeps trying to get in my ear. Anyway, let's just go over the treetops for a while and see how things go. Okay, I'm directly going behind my head now. Let's see how far it can go directly behind through my entire house. Okay, I got trigger all the way pulled. So there you go. You can see it getting really choppy. I'm going to point the controller up a little. You see how it kind of came back because it's not going through all those trees anymore. It's got more of a clear line of sight through the house, backwards even, all the way up here. So look at this. So beautiful turning. It's getting a little choppy. But look where my house is. Way over there. See the home point? I just let off the trigger. So how far away am I? 14,028 feet. In the reverse direction that I'm facing. So the controller is going through my body. The goggles are going basically through my head. Let's get the home directly behind us. See that little H on the bottom of the screen? Let's try to go back way high. You see how that signal comes back in again? Just because it's easier for it to go. But now it's just getting really blocky and kind of unusable. Let's do a return to home here, guys. And I think it's this button right here on the controller. Click it once. That's braking. Click and hold. Puts it in RTH. So I'll have that up on the screen, just, you know, what the goggles are seeing and the video on the craft. It turned itself around and awesome. It's got GPS, 21 satellites on the bottom right there. You can see the megabits per second was super low at like 0 to 1 when it was real choppy. Now it's getting up there. 2, 3, 4. As I turn my head to the right, see how it starts getting a little higher? Turn my head to the left. Yeah, it's just fluctuating. So this is it kind of limping back on its own. A little kind of weird little flight wobble there. You see that? I'm not controlling it at all. It's just doing that on its own. And that thing really has a scream to it. I can hear it overhead. It just sounds like somebody's screaming or using a power tool. All right. If I wanted to, I could press this brake button again to cancel RTH. I just want to see how close it gets. And what we can do. See, so I can't move anything right now. I'm using the motion controller. I can't do anything at all. So it's coming down at 13 miles per hour, and look how shaky it is. It's the raw video shaky, but of course that rock steady on the drone is going to hopefully clear all that out, but I'll have all that up. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it right as it's hovering over its point. Stop. So I stopped it, and it's just a few feet off. All right, well, let's just use up this battery. Keep flying around. See if we can shoot any like tiny gaps. Going slow, just getting a nice cinematic. Look at this. So you can get nice cinematics like that, you know, just going slow, controlling it really slowly. And that electronic image stabilization on the actual AVATA is going to make a world of difference. What we're seeing on the goggles is the unstabilized view, okay? Let's try to get some low, slow. Whew. The neighbors are probably, what's going on? That thing is so loud. Yeah, it seemed to really cut out through the trees when you get really low. So I wouldn't recommend doing like really far away through the tree stuff because you saw how that video got super garbled, right? Let's try to navigate through the forest here. I got 36% left on my power. Here's the backyard. Let's just see what we can do. Can we do kind of like cool? Oh, neat. So if you couldn't do it with a really quick drone, guys, I don't want to speak too soon, but look at this. You can get these really neat cinematic shots. And keep in mind, this is right behind my head, right? So I'm still getting this clear picture through the house and everything. Let's see how... So it's almost like it lets you go into the ground if the ground's going to be coming up. Okay. Yeah, it'll just run right into the ground. So you're going to have to like be a little bit careful there and not let it like run into things. It seemed like going downhill, it wouldn't let me run into the ground, even though I kept going down lower and lower and lower. Let's just go a little faster through. Yeah, so starting to get really garbly here. I just turned my head to the left a little bit. Yikes. Oh, this is pretty neat though. You can really just pick and choose your gaps, you know? Yeah, so if you want to get this kind of footage, I mean, I'll have this up, guys. Look at this. I'll have it up, switching between... Oh, so return to home is going to go in 7 seconds. So I'm going to get into a clearing here. And let's let it return to home. So this is the final. So it locked me out of control. In the distance test, the range test, we'll see if we can cancel that and see if we can get a little further. Because that's, I mean, the battery still has 21% power, right? I just want to let it get where it thinks it's directly over its home point. See the distance ticking away on the bottom left? And then we'll let it start going down once it turns. And I'm going to stop it right now. Face down. So that's where it thinks its home point is. Oh, cool. So you can, that's the maximum tilt down. And look at that. I'm going to try to put the reticle. Oh, neat. I could just press home right there and it will land. But you can see how it's just slightly bit off. It doesn't want to land on that brick where I had it. It's just a few feet off to the left. But I still have 14% power left. What it'll do is after 10%, I think, is it'll kind of go into like a sort of an automatic forced landing mode. Let's just see what happens. See, I'm pushing all the way down into the ground. It is not letting me... Whoa, I shouldn't speak too soon. It seems like if the hill goes up, you're going to run into it. But if it's going down, it... Critically low, see that? So it's going to land in 7 seconds. I want to get back, get back. Oh! I can't do anything. Oh, I can pull the trigger just barely. I'm full throttle. Oh, cool, and you can get back to your area. but it's going to do a constant land. We'll go ahead and let it land right here. Nice. That was great. So that's where I got it to limp land right there. I launched from this or this brick and it wanted to land right here. For me, I don't know, even though I do calibrations and stuff, it always wants to land a few feet off. But that's okay. I mean, it got us back to where, you know, our home point was. And that limp mode, when it gets under like 10% power, it wants to just automatically land. But if you pull the trigger on the motion controller pretty much all the way, it actually will come back at a few miles per hour. So at least you can limp home. Good to have in the range test we're gonna do. Boy, oh boy, so pros and cons. Let me turn this thing off before we get too low on the power because it's at its bottom percentile. So anyways, guys, a quick little pros and cons on the first initial flight test of the DJI AVATA. I gotta say, it's really fun. I thought it was gonna be quieter, but it's really loud. That's a con. Extremely loud. If you're in a quiet neighborhood like this, you might disturb some of your neighbors by it screaming all over the place. It is a gimbal, so it's gonna have gimbal maximums. So you can kind of see that in the video where when I was turning really hard or pulling up really fast, the gimbal maximums would hit and you could see the error on the bottom right of the screen. I haven't crashed like on concrete or the gravel yet, but we did crash into that pine tree. So you kind of got an idea of how it is when you crash into a tree. And that's kind of a negative right there. Was the thing was just kind of tilted like this, hanging in the tree. And I shook the tree and it fell out, remember? So if I would have been able to just punch it a little or do turtle mode at that point, that would have been great. But by the time I tried to do turtle mode, it was already shutting down and overheating. Maybe they could work on that, get you like maybe a shake out of the tree mode, maybe shake mode, dislodge mode. Kind of neat how going downhill, I was pushing into it and the sensors on the bottom could sense the hill and it would not hit the ground until the ground went back up. So keep that in mind when you're going and you reach an incline. It seems like it's just gonna go straight into the ground because the bottom sensors when you're going forward are kind of looking down and back. So it's not gonna really see that incline. You guys be the judge of the video. I'll have that up on the screen of the video on board. If you guys wanna watch the unboxing, you can kind of see all of the ins and outs of how to get that card in, like what this port is. It's a little bit hard to get to it because the propeller's like right in the way, but with a little bit of finagling, you can get to it. Oh yeah, a little bit disappointing that the maximum is only about 30 to 32 miles per hour. Normal mode at about 17, if I remember correctly, and then sport mode was about 32 max. I will have that last flight up with the flight time, and I think we brought that battery down to below 10% for sure, probably around 5 when we actually landed. So you'll be able to see the actual flight time. Now this is the first couple of charges on the battery. Lithium batteries usually peak their capacity, like their longevity, at about 10 charges when they're kind of broken in. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. You probably get a few more minutes after the battery is fully charged. And of course, the type of flying you are really influences how much battery is going to last, the type of flying you're doing. I was pretty much in sport after we tried normal. It's just kind of too slow for an FPV drone unless you're trying to do that really slow cinematic stuff. And that's kind of what this thing is for, is a cinematic, quick FPV drone, and it does a good job at it, as long as that 4K 60 was doing good. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that first flight test of the DJI AVATA, and you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had lots of fun. Kind of went through a lot of different scenarios with it. Also kind of a little range test behind the head, behind the house. You could see how far it was getting going through. You know, this is a stucco house with a metal roof, so not going to be very friendly to signal, as well as all these trees in this forest. So also, I hope you like the new house, a little tour of the outside. I'll probably do an inside on another flight when the baby and stuff isn't sleeping, because this thing is loud. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you have any question, guys, go check below in the comments and shoot me some comments. I'll be glad to answer them. And also check down there in the description for the link of where you can get the AVATA and all the equipment I use in my videos. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the range test, and I'll see you in the next one.